Namaste and welcome back to another episode of The Sapient. Today we have a person with three names, three cool names. So, hi David. How is your day going today?
My brother, it is going good. It's good. I live in Northern California, on the west coast, and it's been hot as fuck lately.
Nice.
And today only got to be 100.
hmm
So what is that? Is that 35 Celsius or thereabouts? I don't know. Whatever. So it's incredible. I find it incredible that I'm excited at 100 degrees because it had been at like 110, 111, 114.
Uh-huh.
And ma- So anyway, no, I'm good, brother. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Um, yeah, it's raining where I am currently.
Oh,
Yeah. So my current weather is like okay, you are hot as fuck. Yeah, definitely. You are like 37 degrees Celsius.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's hot.
that's
Yeah,
hot. That's hot.
that's really hot. We
I
were up to like 114.
Damn. Yeah. I am around like 60, 60, 55, 60
Degrees or Celsius?
Fahrenheit. Yeah, you were
Oh,
metrics.
Fahrenheit. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, my God, it can't be 60 degrees Celsius. No,
Yeah.
60 Fahrenheit. Oh man, that's beautiful. Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. You
And
have to
it's
put
going
it.
to
You have to put.
stay like this for the whole day, I feel like. Because today it's
Oh,
raining.
good, good,
Yeah.
good, good, good. Yeah.
So how is like United States right now? Is it like getting fucked over or what's going on there?
It's, whew, I'm not, when I was younger, I was kind of a news junkie, and I actually kind of stay away from it now. I mean, I know enough to be like have a conversation, but
hmm
we have this big, we have the Olympics, or well, that's a world thing, but with the presidential thing coming up in
Yeah.
November, that's kind of interesting. But you know what, I really don't. I try to just stay just showing up to try to be the best human being I can be.
hmm Yeah, because I
And
have an upcoming guest, right? Who wants to talk about the upcoming civil war in United States.
yeah, they can have that. You know what? That's not my lane. And I'm sure you guys whoever that's going to be is going to have a great time because it is interesting. I catch when I go work out at the gym.
hmm
I catch, and I know some people there because I'm there very regularly. I can kind of catch eavesdrop in on some conversations, and I'm
hmm
like, whoa, okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am not going there. I don't. You know what? It's not like I'm putting my head in the sand and being totally irresponsible,
hmm
but I also don't want to get caught up in the drama.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people, I don't need the drama. I don't.
Definitely, because it feels like right. You're at point of time where you are like, I just don't give a shit about it because I cannot change it anyways.
Yeah. Well, and for me in particular,
hmm
my world is about, well, my world is about me, but my mental health like it's been the primary focus of my life for the last 50 years. I'm 61
hmm
because I have fought this fucker
hmm
called depression for all those years. So I know if I were to get caught up in all that bullshit,
Yeah.
you know what? It could impact
hmm
how I feel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah. Because if you told me you were 30, I'd be like, yeah.
That's why I love you because
You know. Yeah. I feel like you just didn't age.
no, thank you,
Yeah, it's like your
thank
biological clock was like, yeah, fuck this, I'm not counting anymore.
no, not
Right?
gonna do it. It is, and even when I say it, when I say I'm 61 years old,
Mhm.
it does seem weird. It just no one ever believes me.
Yeah.
I was with somebody today, filling out paperwork to volunteer at a veteran center.
Mhm.
And the woman next to me was the person doing the volunteer kind of coordination. And she said, "Oh, I'm older than you." And I said, "Well, I'm 61." And she says, "No, you're not." She was 59.
Damn.
Look, I'm older than you. Like I'm the oldest person in this room.
Yeah, yeah, and it's also crazy how men age compared to women, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Right.
it is. And my beloved is 20 years younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
So she's 43. So what's that? 18 years younger than me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but she could easily be passed for 30. She does not look 43 in any way, shape, or form.
Got it. Yeah, I mean it is very weird because if you look at Hollywood also, right? Like a lot of celebrities have just been there, right? They
Yeah.
never went anywhere.
No, no, exactly. And you know what's interesting? Every once in a while on Facebook, there'll be a thing that says throwback,
Yeah.
and it'll show two famous actors,
Mm-hmm.
together. They played the the co-starring part,
Yes. Yeah.
in a film, and then and now, and
Mm-hmm.
like some of them, yeah, it's like yeah, it's cool. It's actually kind of neat because you can remember. Oh, I remember, where I was back when the movie came out, and
Yeah.
of course where we are now.
Yeah. Like for example, Tom Cruise or like Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Like
Yeah,
their counterparts aged, but they were
yeah.
like, "Nah, I'm cool here." I
No,
don't want to go forward.
no, I say, and if I look at my brothers, I have three. I adore my brothers, and they've all aged, and they're 6, 9, and 11 years old. I just saw my one brother Tom, so he's 66. He does not fucking look 66. It is amazing. I mean, you think, yeah,
Yeah.
it's incredible. So
Do you think
anyway,
it's your just DNA not to age?
that's it. I guess, but
Mm-hmm.
what's interesting though, our father passed away. He was only 42 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And that's young as shit.
Yeah, that's
But
very young.
he smoked,
Mm-hmm.
and so he died of lung cancer, and this is way back in the 70s.
Got it.
Um, so my beloved mother Suzanne, she lived 86, 88,
Nice.
something. She aged beautifully. No, she was just, yeah. So maybe it is. You know what? Until, yeah, maybe
Yeah, it
kind of
just
cool.
might be your DNA not to age at
Yeah,
all.
I never thought about it.
Yeah. Do you think, right, when young people say, "Oh, boomers," right, for old people, um, do you look at them and laugh because you probably did the same thing when you were young?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, here was the first thing that came to mind was like, oh no, no, no. When I was younger, I was much more respectful. I think that's probably bullshit. I probably
Yeah.
my me and my posse, that we hung around, we probably said the exact same thing. It's just like you guys are old as
Right.
fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, you
I
might
think
have used a different word for it.
well it is. So here's the interesting thing.
Hmm.
So I was married before, fantastic, amazing woman who
Hmm.
I am still very close with. We're very good friends. We're just not married.
Hmm.
We didn't have children.
Hmm.
Instead, we had a huge animal sanctuary, which is a whole nother story. So my beloved now, there are has three children,
Hmm.
19, 16, and 13. So we all live together. So I'm learning at 60. We've been together for 6 years. So that was 56 years old,
Hmm.
learning how to be a dad,
Hmm.
which is really interesting. It
Yeah.
is, and my kids and my kids too, and they have they have a great father. I'm the bonus dad. Um, it's interesting. They don't talk a lot of smack per se about the age difference.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes up sometimes, but
Hmm.
they're actually they're pretty respectful actually. Um, I'm just, I'm kind of like going through my mind. No, it's actually, and maybe because it's such a huge age difference.
Yeah. Maybe.
It might have been different if it was just like 10 years, but fuck, I
Yeah.
mean, for my youngest daughter, she's 13. I'm 61. Look, I need my calculator.
Yeah.
Like, what is the difference? What's the difference in age?
Yeah.
I mean, that's multi-generational difference. That's not just one
Exactly.
generation. That's like fucking, so
Two
maybe that's
skips almost. Yeah.
exactly. I think Ganesh, Ganesh,
Ganesh.
Ganesh, Ganesh,
Yeah,
Ganesh. I think you're right. It is too. I never thought about that. My
right.
God,
Yeah.
it's incredible. They're great kids, though. I've
Hmm.
got to tell you, they're phenomenal. They are really good human beings.
Hmm.
They
Yeah.
really are. And their mother is great, and they got a great dad. I mean, he's
Hmm.
good. He's a really good dude.
Yeah, because I
So
have a grandfather at your age. Yeah, he's
no,
61.
that's good. He's a young man.
Yeah, he's a young man. Yeah, because my mother got married early, and yeah, she was very young when I was born. So yeah, I don't have a lot of old people experience. But yeah, my grandfather from my father's side made it to 100 years. And
Did he
then,
really?
yeah, and then he passed away like 3 years ago. But he made it to 100, like solid 100.
So can you imagine, brother?
I
That'd
cannot.
be me. That'd be well. Check. I mean, so just think about this. That would be me living another 39 years.
Years. My God. Yeah.
I don't want to live another 39 years.
Mhm. Yeah, but until like the last 2 months of his life, he was like doing everything on his own, right? Because
Re-
he lost his
really?
wife, yeah, rather young. He lost his wife when he was like 50. So he
Oh
used to
shit!
cook, clean, like do everything on his
Right?
own. And he had like
Damn.
8 kids, man. And he was like, nah, fuck you, like I am gonna take care of myself. Yeah, I mean,
That's
it
a beautiful thing. That it's just that's yeah. I don't. Yeah,
I can't comprehend that.
I can't either. But I can't. I mean, I can't. I can't comprehend myself being 70. That's just. In fact, a very dear friend of mine. I love this guy, Jerry. He's an acupuncturist and he's just an
Hmm.
incredible guy. Just adore this man. He just turned 70.
Hmm.
And you think I look good? Like he looks amazing. But I mean, he has been on whole person care, food, body, mind, spirit, just
Hmm.
whole thing for years. So I mean,
Yeah,
he is taken care of and his beloved, same
nice.
thing. She turned 72 and I look at him like, in fact, I'm gonna see him in like 2 weeks. Like shit, you do not look 70. Like, it's
Yeah,
bizarre. I'm like, "Fuck, Jerry's 70? How can you be Well, and my eldest brother's 72."
yeah. Do you know Hulk Hogan from the WWE, right?
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is he still alive?
Oh my God, man! Come on, he's still alive.
Shit, dude, I don't know. I just thought like dude, I thought about and Ganesh, I haven't thought about Hulk Hogan in probably 10 years easy. I
Years.
don't know.
Yeah, he's 70 right now,
Okay, so
and
he's
he
all
he
right.
looks just the same, man. Like,
Does he really? So
yeah,
he's I mean, he looks healthy and good?
yeah, yeah. He looks the
Oh, good.
same, physique, right? He might have few wrinkles
That's
on his
impressive.
face, but
That's
he's still the
impressive.
same. I don't know how,
That's impressive. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
right? Because he might have been on steroids back then.
Like you'd have to think. I mean, because he was. I mean,
Yeah,
he was like in the forefront of that whole movement. Yeah, they were taking all kinds of shit.
yeah. And he
So
has
that's
always looked like 50 years old, right?
that's amazing. So in fact, if somehow he has been, yeah, because you have to think. I agree with you. He had to be on steroids.
Yeah,
Or maybe there's some amazing reversal thing that he, you know, in
yeah,
Hollywood got into some new age, stuff that's probably, who know, I don't know. Who knows? Bless his heart, man. If he looks good, that's amazing.
right. Like I don't know because I have seen him since my childhood, and he always looked like 50 years old.
Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna have to look him up when we're done. No, you got me interested.
Yeah, he has never changed. It's amazing. It's really amazing how men age, especially, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we do all sorts of weird and bad shit, but we
Well, and
survive.
we do, and I think also if you think about if I think I'd have to say this: the majority of men,
Hmm.
kind of worldwide,
Yeah.
assume the traditional role as the primary breadwinner, and the traditional things. And
Hmm.
I'm not saying one way or the other way is right. I'm just saying I think numbers wise,
Yeah.
and inherent in that, there is an associated amount of stress too.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so if you're able to do all that, and by the time you get where you can, the kids are out of the house and you've retired, and and your finances are okay, and you can finally like take a breath, and you look and feel good,
Mhm.
that's impressive.
Yeah, that's definitely impressive because somehow you survived the shit.
No, exactly.
Right.
Like, I think about like my best friend's dad, who and they lived right across the street, and he just passed, and he was
Hmm.
90 plus years old. Amazing man. Really
Hmm.
took me in as one of his own when my father died. So I was always over Barry, and Barry was a nuclear scientist, but you would never know it because he was just funny as shit, and he
Hmm.
was a goofball, but the guy
Yeah.
was like so smart and he could fix anything.
Hmm.
But this was back in the 70s, so Lois, his wife,
Hmm.
called her Lovey, she didn't work.
Yeah.
So here he is, he's working, he's the head of household, doing all these things, working for the government,
Hmm.
just and then yeah,
Yeah, I
and,
mean,
yeah, yeah,
that's awesome. Like, because like I always, like society has this kind of point of view, like like strippers and people who work in adult industry are very dumb, right? But when you talk to them, you realize, yeah, they are really, really, really smart.
incredibly smart. No,
Right.
no, I just yes, because I mean, and I think we can all fall into the trap
Yeah.
of judging somebody
Hmm. Yeah.
based on what we see. Oh, shit, you take your clothes off for a living,
Yeah.
or
You might not
or you
have,
work,
you know
yeah, or you work behind a bar,
yeah, yeah.
and all you do is pour drinks, or
Yeah.
you just serve tea or whatever,
Hmm.
or vice versa.
Yeah,
Somebody who's a scientist, and we say, oh,
they're
well,
absolutely dumb.
exactly, or they may have
Yeah.
like no fucking common sense.
Yeah, yeah. So the reason I brought it up is that exactly that, like, people expect intelligence where it's not there, where it's not present.
Mm,
Right, we
no,
expect intelligence out of our politicians, our leaders.
no, it is just, and that's what, and it's interesting. I love that's why if I think about Barry,
Hmm.
my best friend's dad, here he was, this nuclear scientist,
Hmm.
and he was the nicest guy in the world,
Yeah.
and the most humble, Ganesh, the most humble, easygoing, funny.
Hmm.
Just he was he was he was a great guy. I mean,
Yeah.
he greatly influenced my life.
Hmm.
Yeah, just I think he like had it all.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
and
it's a
he
very
and
rare thing, right? Like,
yeah,
to have it all.
yeah, and but if you met him, he would just he was so humble. He would just, no, 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 I'm no big deal or any. I mean, he would never want
Yeah.
any attention or anything else. He was this, yeah, really an extraordinary human being. Really. And
Yeah.
and I got to spend my formative years, you know, at his feet,
Hmm.
just watching how he, how he dealt with people, and the fact, he really took me in as one of his own when he
Hmm.
didn't need to. And again, this was back in
Yeah.
the 70s. And so, yeah. So I try, I think on my best days now
Hmm.
with my kids, which are my bonus kids, if I can show up in any way like Barry,
Hmm.
and man, then like I have fucking like I'm having the best day of my life.
Yeah.
And I haven't hit that point yet. I
Hmm.
haven't. I don't think I've had a Barry day yet. I've come close. There's been a couple days where I'm like, whew, you know what?
Hmm.
But other days, like today, I got frustrated. It
Yeah.
was just fuck, damn it. And my beloved, we were talking about something, and I got so passionate and righteous. And then, just all right, well, okay, goodbye. She was
Yeah.
driving, and I hung up. And then a couple hours went by, and like with each passing minute, the realization of how right she was. I'm like, God damn it. I mean, like to the point where it like was physiologically like hurting me. So then I had to
Yeah.
send the text.
Hmm.
Like, each. But she was right.
Mhm.
She was. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, wow, shit. And then I'm like, why did I act that way?
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
Why, I just like, damn, it frustrates the crap out of me when I do that.
Yeah, because you're probably self-conscious about it.
Well, yeah,
A lot
yeah.
of men are
I
just stubborn. They just
no, I
don't give
just
a fuck about it.
I and see, I have people in my life. The men in my life are so good
Hmm.
about admitting when they're wrong.
Hmm.
Like, they're not righteous.
Yeah.
They will quickly admit, you know what, my bad. I fucked up.
Hmm.
You're right. So Barry was the same way. So
Hmm.
I'm surrounded by that. So when
Yeah.
I act like a dickhead,
Hmm.
like I was this afternoon, and then, yeah. And so I guess, and then trying to make amends is to send the text and just say, you know
Hmm.
what, you were right. You were right. And here's something, it wasn't one thing. It
Yeah.
was like five things. It was like, you were right. You were right about this, this, this,
This
this.
is.
Just- the text was like this fucking.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
I
god.
I heard a comedian say once that success to my marriage is I assume I'm the dumbest person ever, like ever
Yeah.
alive.
You know
So
what? Shit, that's right.
I just quickly apologize and move on. Don't think I don't think about it. I said logically. I just don't think about it.
That's, you know what? Though, I think that's brilliant.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And I,
mean.
I was gonna say, I just feel, I'm not just with this situation, but others. If
Mhm.
I look at these men in my life, my three brothers, Barry, some of my close friends, um, and some other men
Mhm.
who just had, like, set the example,
Mhm.
like how to be how to be a good human being.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I mean, it just made like an incredible impression
Mhm.
upon me. So I try to live. I guess what I would say is that I just every day, especially as I get older,
Mhm.
try to live up to that standard. Not to be
Yeah.
perfect. I mean, I like cut myself some slack, but like today was like I was just a total dick. Like I was. I mean,
Yeah.
it just and I felt like I was being like a dick during
Mhm.
it. I should have caught myself. Like, that was the indication right there. It's like,
Yeah.
your legs on fire. Well, you better, you better
Do
stop and put it
something
out.
about it. Yeah.
Why is it smoky?
Yeah.
I, I don't know.
Yeah, that happens to me on podcasts sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I have a lot of coaches, like life coaches and positivity mindset coaches, like these kind of people.
Right.
And I try to like present the opposite of what they're thinking or what their perspective is.
Sure.
So if they come in with like, this world is full of flowers and butterflies, I'm like, yeah, but we also have nuclear waste, waste and nuclear warheads around. Like
Right.
I
No,
always
exactly.
try to present the bleak situation, and exactly that happens because I know I'm wrong, right? But for to give them a perspective to talk about, I have to be an asshole. There's no other
No,
way.
no, exactly. No, and I don't. I am in no way, shape, or form interested in being Pollyanna. Like,
Mhm.
oh no. I mean, I'm a realist,
Yeah.
but I'm going to search out. And I guess it kind of circles all the way back to what we talked about at the beginning. I'm a
Hmm.
realist. I just don't want to watch Fox News. Like, I don't, you know what? I don't want to watch that. It's there.
Yeah.
I know it exists. People are into it. People have flags for the candidate that I'm not interested in, and like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. The other day
You know.
I saw two back-to-back videos that really messed with me. One,
Hmm.
they were comparing Trump's, like uh, hand movements and the way he speaks to Hitler. I was like, yeah,
Ooh.
you're just off by like probably like 100 years,
Yeah. That. I think that'd be like a little. Yeah. I don't
right?
think I don't want.
Yeah,
That's a little
and
hard. That's a little harsh.
yeah, and they were going after Kamala Harris. um, and they just fucked up the meaning of Kamala, which is like here a Hindu name. And
Is it really?
yeah, it's a Hindu name.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Kamala means a lotus, and lotus means prosperity.
Okay. Got it.
So Kamala is a goddess, right? Who is wife of Vishnu. Lord Vishnu is the current moderator of the world. So
Okay.
we have, so Hinduism is based on three gods, right? Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara.
Okay.
And Brahma is like the creator of the world, and the second god, the Vishnu, the Kamala's husband, husband, he moderates the world. His work is to run the day-to-day task of the world. And
Got it.
then it's Maheshwara, he is the destroyer of the world.
Did
Like
you
when,
say destroyer of the world?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So
Okay.
he destroys the world. So when he steps in, it's done. And they took the meaning of Komala to something like a devil or something, and they referred a psalm in Bible, and they said this is what she is, and she is the next devil. And I was like, interesting. So both of candidates are devil, right? Like they're absolutely like assholes. Why do we even have elections now?
You're right. I don't know. God love us. It's
Right.
yeah. It's
Yeah, and he referred to
yeah.
Kamala as goddess of smile. I was like,
Did you say smile?
yeah, yeah. He referred to it as goddess of smile, and I was like, how the fuck does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense at all. That's just dumb shit.
I mean, I know we do have a lot of gods, but we don't have gods for every little thing like smile.
Uh,
Yeah, and he also said like Hinduism is based in Mesopotamia. I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is breaking news for me.
I just I yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and it goes back to that whole thing. When people when become so righteous,
yeah,
and
and
to
also they use religion as a tool,
absolutely.
right?
Oh my gosh, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
No, and yeah, and there's I was raised in in a Christian household.
Hmm.
There's Catholicism, kind of
Yeah.
Catholic,
Yeah.
and then there's Episcopal, which is
Hmm.
kind of incredibly close.
Hmm.
But we always went to church, and I remember my Father Clark was the priest, and he married to Vera, his wife, and my parents, and also Michael's parents, Barry and Lois, who were
Hmm.
Catholic and Episcopal, incredibly close. I was raised in an environment in which
Hmm.
there was no religious righteousness at all.
Hmm.
I mean, the only you wouldn't even know that we were practicing,
Hmm.
except that on Sunday, we
You go
went.
to
That's
church.
where we
Yeah.
went. But I watched the adults in my life
Hmm.
practice in terms of their behavior
Yeah.
what their faith was. Like I saw them; they
Hmm.
were living examples of what they believed in.
Yeah.
So
Um.
it wasn't they went to church and they were just a dumbass.
Hmm.
They went to church and then they really embodied what they
Hmm.
learned in church.
Yeah.
So so that was a really clear lesson for me. And then my another best friend, his father was a minister.
Hmm.
So I was raised in that whole environment where religion was played a big part, but there was no righteousness.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
And
know?
because I'm not an American, right? So thank God I'm not an American. Um. So my opinions absolutely amount to shit. Like they don't matter. But what I've seen is, right, Trump supporters use religion to bring down the other side, and the other side uses ideology to bring Trump and his party down.
Right? No, you're right.
And it looks like a circus, to be honest.
Wait, it is a total circus. Oh my God, you're being nice. I think it's a shit show, is what it
Yeah.
is. It's a
Yeah,
joke.
because
It's
nobody
embarrassing.
has any idea what's going on.
No, it's embarrassing. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just like, I know, I think, good Lord, is this the best we can do? Like, this, I mean, yeah. So no, you're being, a circus is a
right.
very, that's a very kind way of
Hmm.
characterizing
Yeah, and
what's
when people say,
goofy.
like there is going to be a civil war, I'm like, yeah, it might be, because you guys are just so polarized right now. The last civil war was about south and north, and this time it's going to be like dependent on house to house,
Yeah,
right?
I know. I know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I live in California. I mean,
Mm.
for the most part, we're more on the, if you had to classify it, we would be more on the liberal side.
Yeah, you're more on the woke part, right? Like, you pay more taxes and you just shut up.
Yeah, I just like,
That's all it is.
but they're still, yeah. I mean, so who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think about it.
Mhm.
Not because I don't
Yeah,
care. Just
David,
like
if I ever wanted to come to United States, they wouldn't give me visa, definitely. They're like, fuck you, man, you spoke so much shit about my country, like, go back.
exactly, exactly. Go back to
Right.
Go back to Mesopotamia.
Yeah, yeah, go back to Mesopotamia or wherever you came from. Yeah, that's the fun part, I feel like, because if you look at what happened to like Tucker Carlson, right, when
Mm,
he decided to quit mainstream, it's almost communism. it's
yeah,
it's almost like selective communism,
yeah. It's just
right?
and that's why I don't I don't spend any time, literally any time
Yeah.
dealing. I don't look at it. Don't listen to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I may at the gym where they
Hmm.
have the cardiovascular equipment, that you
Hmm.
work on. They'll have all the TVs up there. I'll glance at it, but
Hmm.
I'm not
Oh, they
wearing
put
head.
news in gyms.
Uh-huh.
Damn. Yeah.
But there's like, there's like, oh, I don't know, 15
I guess they
plus or
just want
minus
you. I just they
TVs,
just want you to like get riled up, get angry, so that like, you work out more.
I just look at the sports channel. So
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
one
yeah. That's
that's
the
the one I
best thing
look
you
at.
can do.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
Exactly.
um, there is a philosopher. I don't remember his name. He said the best way to pass through timeline is to be oxymoronic. Like,
Hmm.
like just be an absolute idiot. You'll make it.
You may end up you may end up being so much more right than most everybody else.
Right, like, because
Yeah.
if you assume and you work from a point of view that you are the most dumbest person on the planet, your opinions are not valid, and you're always willing to learn, you're open to
Mm.
discussions, which
You
most
know
people
what?
are not.
That's brilliant. Actually, you're exactly right. And well, so then just to continue that then,
Yeah.
because you're open and then you do have that conversation, then you're going to learn.
Right.
So
Right
you'll
now
end
it
up,
feels like, if you are a Trump supporter and I am a Biden supporter, like, we cannot talk to each other.
you're right, which is just it, which is, yeah.
Weird, right? Imagine if it's like this, right? If you liked salad and I like burger, we could not talk to each other. Right? I'm like,
Yeah,
fuck you and your salad, and you're like, fuck you and your burger. Like, it's very stupid, right? And
right.
people always talk about ideologies. Like, it's not the policy or politics, it's ideology. I'm like, no, it's not, right? Because most probably both sides are sponsored by the same people.
Yeah, it's the whole thing is just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I read on Facebook that, like how NASCAR drivers have a racing suit, right, where they have all the sponsors written, like Goodyear,
Oh, right, right.
Bush. So they said politicians should also have a vest which shows all of their sponsors.
That's a
Like,
good
my
point.
title sponsor is Pfizer. you know, like,
Exactly.
yeah, that would be nice, right?
No, we should know because they are all sponsored. Good
Yeah,
gracious. My
yeah.
goodness.
David, do you know who is the most successful trader in the world?
Trader?
Yeah, like stock trader.
I do not.
It's Nancy Pelosi.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Come on.
Yeah, she has grown her investment by 634 times.
Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah, yeah. She's the
I think
most successful trader in the world.
that is incredible. I did not know that.
Yeah, because
Wow.
she just is very good at trading.
Wow. Bro, that's
Yeah, because she sits
incredible.
on committees, right?
Right. No,
Yeah.
right.
So she know what's about to go down. You
God
just
love
make
her.
right.
Right?
Yeah. So the richest way, the quickest way to become like a billionaire is probably a politician.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
get to sit on committees and you know what's about to go down.
right. No,
There
that's
is
a
this
good point.
particular congressman who was sitting on the the electric cars commission. They were doing a study,
Oh,
and
right.
just before the study got out, he invested like everything he had in
Oh,
Tesla,
wow.
right? And it just
Okay.
jumped.
Man, good Lord.
Yeah. So David, this might be your signal to become a politician.
No. No politician. I can't do it. I'm not. I no. I'm too nice. I
Yeah.
can't do it, brother. It won't work.
I mean, you can try.
No, 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 no. Well, no. I think no. I would hate it. Ugh.
Yeah.
It would be terrible. That'd be
Yes.
awful.
Yeah, and I see like more Indians becoming congressmen and you know participating in politics in US.
Oh, really?
I'm like, yeah, man, fuck you. Right?
No, exactly.
Because Kamala Harris is part Indian. So
Right.
and I when I speak to more woke Indians, they're like, oh, look at us, we are growing everywhere. I'm like, no, you're not growing. That particular person might be growing. Right?
Right.
It's not
Right.
like she sent me a check once she became the like the VP. She was like,
Right.
here you go, Ganesh, like $1,000 to you. No, it did not, right? And you'd find surprising, David, that Indians love Trump more than Biden.
Wow.
Yeah, because at the early Russian Ukraine conflict, right, everybody was buying oil from Russia and gas. But because India is, emerging country, so they
Right.
were like, if you buy from Russia, we will, they threatened to put sanctions. But thank God our government was like little bit strong this time. So they said, yeah, man, go ahead, try doing it. You know, we will just do
Right.
the same thing. We will also put sanctions on you. Yeah, and that was done from Biden administration, like probably like 3 months into this particular administration.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Trump was always supportive.
Huh.
And you would think it's vice versa, right? You would think that, you know, Biden would be more kind to other countries,
No, you would think so.
right? Because I think
Right.
that's why he was elected. Because United States was tired of having a baby as as a president when Trump was there, because he used to tweet random shit at random times.
Yeah.
So they were like, let's have a stable, president. So let's go for someone who is old and sweet. And they were like, Biden. And Biden like, what? Fuck your mentality, right? He was like, yeah, I'm just going to mess up, who cares, right? And that's how I see the whole politics scene in US. Like right now, I know Indians who want to, who want to work in United States on visa, who are just holding off. And this is the first time I'm seeing this.
Hmm.
Not when even Barack became president or Trump became president. I have never seen this, right? And it's the
Right.
first time, they are thinking, and they're like, let's wait until this election is over.
No, and I think, which I think, shit, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, but usually, David, what happens is during election period, right? More people get into country. That's what happens usually. Like whenever there's
Oh,
US elections, more Indians go
oh, okay. Okay.
to
Well, yeah, I
work
did not
in
know that.
US.
Okay. Okay.
But this is the first time it's opposite. They're like,
There's
yeah,
like,
let
no,
let me
wait.
wait.
No. Well, shit, I would wait. because you
Yeah.
don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it could be, yeah. And again, I don't,
Mhm.
Ganesh, I don't think about it. I don't. I know how I'm going to
Yeah.
vote. I know
Good
how I'm
for
going to
you.
vote. Boom, and that's all I can do.
Yeah, that's all
You
you can
know?
do, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, and just yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen those videos on Instagram where they say, you know, are you, like team Israel or team Palestine? Right. And my opinion on that is like, it doesn't matter whose team I am on. Right. It's very clear that our opinions don't matter anymore. Right. Because it's government's in control, and it's like the movement is so big that one person's putting a flag on their Instagram won't work.
No, but
Right.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I actually think I would disagree to the extent I do think
Hmm.
that the individual person.
Hmm.
I mean, I have control over my life. I have
Yes.
control over how I act.
Hmm.
I have control over how I respond.
Hmm.
So I think those things I can control that. On the
Yeah.
larger picture,
Hmm.
I mean, in my mind, how it occurs to me is in all that I'm making a contribution, either
Hmm.
positive or negative, depending on a day,
Hmm.
to the collective.
Yeah. So
So
it's more of
that's
a virtue signaling, right, rather than actual actions.
I'm so one more time.
It's more of a virtue signaling, right, where you're just like, yeah, I support a particular group of people,
Right.
but
Right.
in faith,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
as opposite to like actually contributing.
No, exactly. Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, people ask this question, right, like, are you team Palestine or Israel? I'm like, if you're not actively doing something for it, then your opinion really doesn't matter.
Mm, that's a good point.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, like whenever a hurricane hits in US, they're like, pray for people. Yeah, how about you help them?
Good point. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Like, how about you help them, you go out of your way to help them.
Right.
But they don't do that. They will just say, pray for particular region, which is more of a virtue signaling than actual action.
No, and I agree with you, brother. That I think it's the actual feet on the ground, hands
Yes.
in the clay. That
Hmm.
whole showing up, knocking at the door. Hey, what can I do? Or picking
Hmm.
up the phone, whatever. You
Yeah.
know, it's
Right.
you know, you
or
know
or
and
just calling somebody and talking to them.
well, exactly, because that can make all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
In the world that I live in mental health, what I share with people, it's stuff just like that.
Yeah.
You think I don't know how to support somebody, pick up the phone and call,
Yeah.
send them a
Yeah.
text, just whatever those things. And I agree with you. I mean, yeah, it's those sorts of things can make a shockingly huge difference
Hmm.
in a
Yeah.
person's life.
Exactly, because there was a podcast guest that I had on, right. His name is Brendan. Like, and I learned through him that it's something that small as what you said matters,
Absolutely.
right? Just checking in.
So there's a quote that I use all the time is by Dr. Drew Ramsey, who's a psychiatrist,
Hmm.
and he specializes in suicide and treatment and things like that. So check out what he says.
Hmm.
And this would be global. This occurs. This is applicable the entire world over. So here's what he
Hmm.
says: someone you see today is thinking about killing themselves.
Yeah.
Your smile, your
Hmm.
question, your love could save them.
Yeah.
Trust me, they
Hmm.
told me it did.
Yeah. I mean,
And it,
that's incredible, right?
yeah, it is.
Because that's true.
Yeah, and you can just imagine. I love that quote. I say that quote all the time because you
Yeah.
can just imagine coming from a psychiatrist sitting with a patient.
Hmm.
And Dr. Ramsey says, "Well, David, how are you doing?" He said, "Man, you know what, doctor? It was a bad day, and I had a gun in my lap, and I was about to pull the trigger, and all of a
Hmm.
sudden, somebody called me on the phone."
Yeah.
and I put the gun down. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like it is that. And so in what I teach
Hmm.
is I teach people, I teach my own version of those three things to just like
Hmm.
do it all the time,
Yeah.
all the time. Because you don't know. You
Hmm.
know, the person that you see, you have no idea.
Yeah.
You know
I
what?
talked to a person who was about to do the same thing that you just said, and he was about to, off himself, and he got a sales call, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And he was like, "Hi, Mr. Ganesh, how are you doing today? I hope your day has been good." Right? And then the guy had realization of just the consequences of what he was going to do to
Yeah.
himself,
Yeah.
right? And he said
Un
he just broke down,
Unbelievable. Isn't that amazing? That's a great I'm gonna use that story. That's a great
right?
story. And it
Imagine
can
being saved by a salesman.
right. I got a sales call today when I was driving. I'm like, bless his soul.
Yeah, I truly don't trust people who are like um very condescending towards salespeople. I truly
Mm-mm.
don't trust them.
No, it's just they're doing their job, you know?
Yeah.
And so I let
And
this person I let this person talk and blah
mhm.
blah blah. And I
Yeah,
said, hey,
you
this
could just say no, thank you.
exactly. I said, hey, I don't need
That's
your
it.
services.
Yeah. Even if you're in caught up in something, you just say no, not interested. Thank you so much. Instead of being fuck you and just hanging up,
Right. No.
right?
And I even try on cold emails.
Hmm.
I, I try to respond to them and just say,
Yeah.
hey, you know what? Don't need anything right now.
Mm.
Because I send out unsolicited
Yeah.
emails. Not a
Yeah.
lot of
Me
them,
too.
but I send them out. So I
Uh,
will hope, please reply back. But so
yeah.
anyway,
I think every human being who has done anything in their life does that,
yeah,
right? Even
yeah,
you write email to a girlfriend or to an unknown person, right? For your business or for your work, you always do that. You always you know contact somebody out of cold, and you hope that they respond back in kindness.
exactly. Exactly. Now, like, so it's interesting. I'm looking potentially to hire somebody to do some marketing for me. And this
Hmm.
was kind of what my beloved and I got into it about because she had suggested, she said, well, go to this person's testimonial page and look up, a couple of the people, find their website, and then get they all have a contact me, reach out, write to them, say, hey, I'm thinking of hiring this person.
Hmm.
What, what did he do for you?
Hmm.
It's a brilliant idea, really. But
Yeah.
when we were on the phone, I'm like, no. And then I thought, God, that's a really smart thing to do. So I
but
did
they
it.
will but a lot of companies wouldn't admit.
Right. Right.
They just outright say no, we never hired them.
Right. So, and that could be, I mean, it could be that these people that I wrote to never write back to me,
Yeah.
but
But you hope that they respect you, right, when they write you back.
exactly. Because and all I'm looking for is like, oh man, hey, he made a huge difference, or he sucked, or whatever it
Yeah.
is, you know,
Yeah. Or
and
they
to
might
my,
say, we have no knowledge of it,
right.
but they
Yeah,
do
exactly.
it so respectfully.
Right. Or we'd rather not say. Okay.
Yeah.
Totally get it. And to your
Yeah.
point, yeah, just some, because yeah, yeah. So like you and I were both saying, it just,
Mhm.
when we get those unsolicited sales calls or those emails, well, it's almost like, how would I want to be treated? So
Exactly.
let me do that,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I
And
don't
it's
always
the
do.
same when, people treat service staff like shit,
Exactly. Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Yes, someone was saying, imagine if you work in, tech, and somebody coming in and absolutely trashing you for your service. They're like, your software sucks, man. Quit your job. You're wasting your time.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Exactly.
and it was so relatable. Yeah. And David, you're so humble that, people don't know that you're a TEDx talker. Like, you have been a TEDx speaker, right? That too, like twice, right? How
Yeah.
how did you get to that?
So it, you know what? it was incredibly it was it was really simple.
Mhm.
And so I did one in 2018 and one in 2021, and all I
Mhm.
did was I and this is people will ask me this question all the time who want to be
Mhm.
TEDx speakers, and I say here's
Yeah.
here's what I did.
Mhm.
Type Google open call TEDx speakers.
Mhm.
If you Google that, it
Yeah.
comes up. There's TEDx's all over the world,
Mhm.
and so I don't know what had me apply. The first one was in the San Francisco Bay Area, and the
Mhm.
other one was here close by in Sacramento. So I applied, and I'll I will never forget. I was checking email,
Mhm.
and the email from TEDx Legatos came and said, "Congratulations,
Mhm.
you have been selected to speak at TEDx." And I screamed. Li-
Yeah.
Literally screamed.
Mhm.
I mean, just I couldn't believe it. I mean,
Yeah.
it was one of those things, as a speaker, that's like the mountaintop like
Yeah.
experience. I mean, it is. And
Yeah.
then to do it twice is pretty extraordinary. I mean, and not because me, I'm nothing special. I'm just a
Mhm.
guy. There's nothing, I'm a pretty good storyteller. Like
Mhm.
it's about what I would give myself credit for.
Yeah.
And so, and I can't remember what prompted me to want to do it again.
Mhm.
I don't know if somebody said, "Hey, you should do it again," or "Oh, I bet you can't do it again." I don't know. Maybe they
Yeah. Maybe
dared
somebody
me.
said, like David, your TEDx is about to expire.
Right, yeah,
Let's get a
exactly.
new
Right,
one.
exactly. It's only good for 3 years. You better do it again.
Yeah.
So I got it the second time, which I couldn't
Mhm.
believe. And what I tell people is the talk
Mhm.
is the least important part of the whole experience
Okay.
because the each TEDx is there's a curator, there's a main person that
Mhm.
went ahead and took ownership of it, and I don't know necessarily in the literal sense, but like
Mhm.
is organizing it and
Yeah.
all this, and then they're your main contact person, and then you have, and I think for both times there's like 12 of us who were
Mhm.
on those days. So you do rehearsals and practices and all this
Mhm.
stuff, and you become really bonded because it is such this, oh my god, it's a you're giving a TED talk.
Yeah.
And then the day comes and the actual talk itself is like that's the that's like the least important part, you
Yeah.
know? And it's funny if I look at my two talks, I hadn't watched them in quite a while.
Mhm.
And about probably 2 months ago, I watched the two,
Mhm.
and I looked at the difference for me as a speaker
Mhm.
between 2018 and 2021. And if I look at myself now at 2024
Mhm.
and compared to 2021, I think there's a big difference, but it's
Yeah.
just interesting. Um,
Yeah. I
but
would
I
think so.
Yeah,
I
it's amazing.
yeah. I haven't achieved shit in life. I feel embarrassed to like listen to like episode 10 of this podcast. I was shit.
Well, no, well, brother, I mean, you were not shit. I just
No, truly, I was shit. And like I cannot even listen to like episode 40, which was like 2 months ago.
okay.
I'm like, oh my god, how the fuck would I talk like that?
No, I mean I could only listen to my talk like once. That was it. Like I
Hmm.
can't I can't do I can't do any more than that.
Yeah, I'm actually an introvert. Interestingly, I don't know how, but when I talk to people and they say, okay, you have a podcast, and they start to play it in front of me, I
Mm,
feel so embarrassed.
I totally get what you're saying. I can't. I'm not even embarrassed. Like when you just said that, well, David, you're a two-time TEDx speaker. Like,
Yeah, I
but
don't know.
I'm also the guy that was just a dickhead to his fiance. So, so I feel like that does that doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'll tell you. So for anybody listening, please pursue it. Try to get
Hmm.
in, try to do it, because it's interesting. I mean, this is what I do for my job,
Hmm.
is I look to get booked to be hired by organizations to come, and what I do is I share my journey from mental illness to mental
Hmm.
wellness, and tell stories. And so I think, if nothing else, that if somebody's looking at me and they think, well, shit, he gave two
Hmm.
TED talks, he can't suck that bad. Like, so there is, it does. I mean, seriously, I mean, from
Yeah.
a branding standpoint, that red
Yeah.
circle, that helps.
Yeah. That's the best thing that could happen to you.
Oh yeah, no, and it had to have done it twice.
Yeah.
It's amazing. No, I
So
have no
when are you
desire to
going
do.
back?
I'm sorry,
When are you going back?
to do it again.
Yeah, it's almost 3 years, David. Come on.
No, I know. Nah, I don't. I mean, I could. It would be. I got. Oh, I got some great stories. I know the story, because and most of my stories are animal stories. So I
Hmm.
take mental health and I wrap it in an animal story to me,
Hmm.
because mental health is like, it's really intense. Should I talk about sexual trauma and
Yeah.
suicide and talk about a lot of intense stuff? So
Hmm.
I package it in a way that someone can consider what I'm saying, and I'm not jamming it down their throat, you know, because
Yeah.
it's like, hey, I was raped as a 12-year-old by a Boy Scout leader. Oh shit! Like, fuck, God love you. Just
Yeah.
let me try to put it some other way, as
Hmm.
much as I can. And there's other times when I just come right out and say that,
Hmm.
and it's interesting in those talks, at the end,
Hmm.
someone, at least one person, will always come up and
Hmm.
say, same thing happened to me.
Hmm.
Thanks for giving voice to it. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
fuck. Okay.
Nice. At least you're
Yeah.
doing something that's impactful.
Yeah.
Like
No,
the marketing TEDx talkers. Fuck them.
I say, look, you don't have to pay anybody to become a TEDx speaker.
Hmm.
Google open
But don't
call.
suck at it.
Well, you won't talk, because they won't let you speak.
Yeah. No,
They
I
they
see. Because I'm a marketer, I'm a digital marketer. And
Right.
I see some people talking about marketing. And because they stand in such a prestigious stage where everybody is listening to them, they think they can get away with shit.
No,
Yeah.
I don't. No.
Hmm. Because, um, yeah, there is a guy called as Gary Vaynerchuk.
Oh,
He's a
sure, I know
social,
Gary
yeah,
Vaynerchuk,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I don't know
He,
him, but I, know of him. Like,
yeah,
I don't,
I'm
Gary doesn't
aware
know
of him,
me.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, if you want to achieve something in life, look to give value.
Oh,
Like, don't hold back,
right,
right? And marketing TEDx speakers are like, yeah, this is a magic. And the trick is, well, pay me. Like, that's not a talk, that's not a speech, right?
right.
Because you need to look to give value, as you said, right?
What
And if you want it impacts one person, that's the greatest thing that you could achieve.
exactly? No, and
But
for me, no, I'm sorry. Go
mhm,
ahead, brother. I interrupted
but
you.
you don't say, if you want to heal, pay me,
Right,
right?
right.
You look to give value as much as possible.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
that was my point. Like, because I did listen to you, or one of that, I don't know which one. Yeah, my memory is very bad, so
It's
yeah, I
okay.
don't remember.
It's okay. They were fun. I mean, I love doing it, and I have
Mhm.
no intention or desire to do another one.
So
But
what's your next big, you know
I,
level where you're like, let me fill up a Super Bowl stadium? Like, what's your next big thing?
it really would be. I'm venturing into the. Most of my work has been in the military space.
Hmm.
And so I really want to venture into business and education, because I
Hmm.
think in those two spaces, there are so many people who are suffering,
Hmm.
and so many people who will end up killing themselves. And we need to have a different response than we're having right now. And
Yeah.
I'm offering, I don't offer a solution. I
Hmm.
offer a different response
Yeah.
because I don't want to use the word solution. I want to
Hmm.
offer response. This let's consider this response. How do we
Hmm.
respond to this
Yeah.
crisis? And I'm saying, here's an idea.
Hmm.
Because I'm not righteous. I'm not no. It's just, I know it works.
Hmm.
I know it's incredibly effective. I know it will
Yeah.
save lives, but I'm not going to jam it down your throat.
Hmm.
I don't want you to
Yeah.
jam I don't want you to jam your shit down my throat. So
Yeah.
I know it works, you know?
Yeah. You'd have to come to India though. if you look at if you look at the education scenario in India, yeah, you would be you'd go mad. I feel like
No, I don't need that though.
because Indians have one of the hardest like um, examination systems in the world.
Oof. No, thank you, brother.
You, yeah, because I have two nieces, right? They studied in India until they were like fifth standard, and then they went to United States. They just coasted for like 4 years.
Oh, I bet. No,
Yeah, they're
I
like,
believe
I already know this shit, like.
no, absolutely.
And my sister was angry because she could not tell them to study.
Because they already knew it.
They're like,
Mom,
ask me.
mom, I already know what I'm doing.
Yeah, they're like, yeah. So they just coasted for like 3 4 years.
Mm.
They're like, I learned this when I was in like third standard, which is like what, 7 years old. I learned it back then, like, you know. Actually, one of my nieces told my sister that, school doesn't provide that much value to me, and she was like, what the fuck are you speaking about?
God love them.
Yeah, in India, the suicide rate is so high in terms of education.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
get
because
it.
there is increased social expectation for you to succeed,
I get it. I understand it.
right? Because it's like this, right? Like there has been nobody who has taken a distinction in our family, like which is about 85 90%.
Right.
And they're like, there has been nobody in our family, and you are the only hope.
Oh, got it. Right. So all that pressure.
Imagine
Yeah.
that much pressure.
Yeah.
And these are one of the toughest exams that you could crack.
Oh, I
And they
get
would be
it.
like, you would be the first doctor in my family.
Right.
I'm like, come on, like there are like 800,000 or million people writing that exam in a year for a seat of 200,000. That's all. So the top 200,000 people get the seats, even to study medicine.
Right.
And there is like million or half, 1.5 million people writing that exam. Could you imagine the pressure, David? Like,
No, brother.
you know,
I couldn't.
yeah, because, I don't know why, but Indian parents always express it. They're like, David, you're the first one to become a doctor in this family, right? So you better clear this NEET exam.
Right.
And that kid is already, shitting himself or herself just to, study.
No.
And then
Exactly.
they're like, yeah, you better crack it. And, dentistry is the worst in India. It's
Hmm.
like dentists are not even considered as doctor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, actually, one of my friends became dentist, and her father was like, "Yeah, but you ain't a real doctor." Could you imagine that? The same happens with civil servants,
Hmm.
right? If you want to go into administration in government, it is so competitive that like kids start preparing at the age of 15
Oh, wow. Good
to
Lord.
go into an administration at the age of 21.
Wow.
That's 6 years of education studying for one exam, and you
Right.
got to clear it.
Wow.
And it's like the last time around 1.6 million people wrote it, right?
Right.
For a total open position of 3,000.
Yeah, I don't get it, brother. It makes no sense.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
I mean, yeah, that's why there is a whole movement going on from parents where they are like, if a kid invests 6 years into studying, for administration, can you at least guarantee them a job in private sector or anywhere, right? Otherwise, they just wasted 6 years of their life. along with education, David. That's the thing. You're
No,
also studying degree and you're also studying 11th and 12th and
right?
studying that particular education.
No,
So
brother.
suicide rates are very high.
No, I
There's
get
a
it.
city called as Kota. Kota is like, we call it as Kota Factory. It's like an educational city. The whole city is built on education.
Wow.
Like people go there to prepare for exams, like central exams, right?
Right, right,
Um, there actually suicide is so much that they put grills on the windows
right,
that kids don't jump, and then they, the ceiling fan, right?
right,
So
right,
people used to hang themselves, unfortunately,
right.
from the fan, right? A ceiling fan. uh, they installed suspension in that, so that when somebody tries to hang, it just
Okay,
comes
sense.
down.
Oh, bless her heart.
Yeah, instead of actually talking to children.
Brother, you're blowing my mind, baby. I'm maxed out.
Right.
I can't do
Yeah.
it.
So it's like, because of course we have a lot of population. We have 1.5. We are slowly creeping towards 1.6.
Sure.
1.6 billion people.
Right.
And so the competition is immense.
Mm.
And in India, mental health is still seen as a stigma.
Right.
you know is it like necessary like that?
Right.
Because there is no space for soft thoughts,
Right.
because it's just competitive, man. It's so competitive.
No, I get it, brother. I get it. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Whoo.
Even if you in United States, right, if you said I want to be in army, right, they would probably give you a house. Right, like, just come in, come on, right?
Right.
In India, it's like quite opposite.
Wow.
It is so hard to get into armed forces in India because the standards are so high.
Sure. No, I get it. Oh, brother. Whew. Mm, mm, mm,
Right?
mm.
What would be your, like, wisdom to those people who are in like that rat race, literally?
It's a tough one. To find, I think it's all about connection for me,
Hmm.
to find that one person who, when you're with them, you somehow feel better.
Hmm.
And then without, and I don't, we live in literally two different worlds. If it's possible to, while you're pursuing something that may not give you joy, if you have some other thing, whatever it
Hmm.
is, that could just give you a little bit of joy,
Hmm.
something. And I think that's
Yeah.
why I think relationships tend to be the most important.
Yeah.
They're the ones, because I think there's a I use a definition from Brene Brown.
Hmm.
So Brene Brown defines connection as, I define connection as the energy that exists between people when they feel
Hmm.
seen, heard,
Wow.
and valued.
Hmm.
So there is those people. I have those people in my life. And so to the ones out there who are suffering, I'd say find that one person
Hmm.
in which, and hopefully we have at least one in which we feel
Yeah.
seen, heard, and valued.
Yeah.
And I think that can be that can energize, that can fuel us to make it through what you have described, brother, as incredibly. I can't imagine the level of difficulty. It's just like, good
Yeah.
Lord, that's just overwhelming. Yeah. So
Yeah. I
that's
mean,
that's what I'd suggest.
yeah. I think you're very unique in terms of how you suggest. A lot of people would say meditate, look inwards and everything. Well, you're like, look for that connection externally, right? So that you can heal internally.
And my reason is, my the foundation of my work is that connection, seen, heard,
Hmm.
valued, creates hope.
Yeah.
Hope saves lives. And the definition, but see, I always break something down to a definition because I want to make it real. Don't just give me these
Hmm.
cute little bullshit things. Like, make it real.
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
that's why connection, like okay, that's an amazing definition of connection. And
Hmm.
when you hear it, you're like, yeah, that's exactly right. So when you
Hmm.
when I'm with you, brother, I feel
Hmm.
seen, heard, and valued.
Yeah.
How can any time that we're with some other person
Hmm. You feel like
connected
shit. Yeah.
and we feel seen, heard, valued, how can we feel anything but hopeful?
Yeah.
We always feel hope. And you know what hope is? Defined out of the dictionary.
Hmm.
Hope is the feeling that what is wanted can be had.
Hmm.
So in other words,
Yeah.
when if I'm suicidal
Hmm.
and I come into connection with my brother and I feel seen, heard, and valued, and thus I have the experience of hope,
Hmm.
and hope is the feeling inside of me that what I want, the end of my pain, whatever it is, it can actually
Hmm.
be attainable. I'm not going to kill myself
Yeah.
because I feel hopeful. And
Yes.
hope's not just this, you know, thing. Hope is a very you can make hope.
Hmm.
It is an actionable thing.
Yeah.
Very doable. Very much so. So
Yeah.
and then what I do is I teach people, okay, then the question becomes, well, how do you create connection? And so I teach people three basic ways. I tell people be great with names. Like
Hmm.
remember people's names. Like do
Yeah. The
that.
most simplest thing.
Yeah. Because then people feel like, yeah. And then
Yeah.
when you see something you don't understand, like it makes no
Hmm.
sense, like what the fuck? Instead of asking why, ask
Hmm.
what.
Yeah.
Don't say, why did you do that? Say, hey, what inspired you to do that?
Hmm.
Totally different question.
Yeah.
What is an amazing question that will yield so much more information than why ever will.
Hmm.
And then the last is express yourself. To your
Hmm.
point, brother, your beautiful point. Pick up the phone, knock on the
Yeah.
door, send a text.
Hmm.
So there's a buddy of mine I hadn't seen in a while, and his mom called me and said, Levi's in a really bad place. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so
Hmm.
sorry. And she said, would you please talk to him? I said, of course I would talk to him. So we talked.
Hmm.
And then I asked him, and this is what I share with people. People say, I don't know what to do to support someone. I say, ask them.
Yeah.
Ask them, what can I do? And
Yeah.
they're like, oh wow, okay. So I said, brother, what can I do to support you?
Hmm.
Not help, support.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to.
Hmm.
It's a big thing on the way the words are. And he said,
Yeah.
well, just stay in touch with me. I said, okay. So he's a texter. He's younger than me.
Hmm.
So we're texting back and forth, and I text him, I love you, and hey, thinking about you. You're a fucking
Hmm.
superstar, whatever, whatever. So about
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, these texts going back and forth, and sometimes he takes like 2 days to get back to me. I'm like, it's okay. He knows
Hmm.
I got.
Yeah.
He sees the text I sent, so he knows I'm
Hmm.
thinking of him.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for a text in return. So a couple weeks ago, he sends me a text. He says, "Hey man," or no, he says, "Hey brother, just want to let you know I've turned a corner, feeling so much better." And then
Hmm.
check this out. The next line was, "Thanks for reminding me who I am."
Hmm. Yeah.
like, like, oh,
Yeah.
that's
I mean, that's the best.
incredible.
Yeah, that's the best result you could have with minimal input.
Exactly. All he did, this was just send some text. I mean,
Yeah.
they were heartfelt,
Hmm.
and everything I text, I mean, I love this young man. I've always
Yeah.
loved him. But he just, for him to say, "Thanks for reminding me who I am." I'm like,
Hmm.
so that's how easy it is
Hmm.
to support somebody, to give them the experience of connection, even by way of technology,
Yeah.
so they have hope.
Hmm.
The feeling that what I want can be had.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my shit is just so ridiculously simple. Some people probably think, yeah, that's bullshit. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Fuck, I don't. I'm just trying to do my best.
Yeah. I would say try coming up with a better thing. Right.
Yeah. How about you give fucking two TED talks?
Yeah. How about you come with your own principles?
No, and there's okay. Yeah. So I mean, most of the and part of it is, in the world of suicide prevention, there's a lot of really great stuff.
Mhm.
And a lot of it has to do. There's a lot of, for me, the way it occurs to me, there's a lot of technicality to it, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not smart enough for that. That's too
Yeah.
much for me.
Yeah.
I need something simple.
Exactly.
So that's
Because
why,
I see people who say, if you're depressed, look into yourself and come up with the courage. I'm like,
fuck
man,
that. Are you kidding
I
me?
work 10 hours a day. I really don't have time to fucking look into myself. Come on.
Well, no, and the reality is, when you're depressed, you're not going to do that anyway. You're not
Yeah.
gonna,
Because you're
hey,
scared of yourself.
oh, look at the sunny side of the street. Like, come on, man. Like,
Right?
it ain't gonna happen. But but
Yeah.
but if I'm depressed and
Hmm.
somebody comes up and says, "Hey, I get a sense that you're suffering. Is
Hmm.
there anything you'd like to share?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, yeah, there is." And then I get to just unload everything,
Unload.
and bless that
Yeah.
soul, all they do is listen.
Hmm.
That's prevention right there.
Even if they just pretend to listen.
Exactly. Exactly. But there's an amazing quote about listening.
Hmm.
Our listening creates a
Hmm.
sanctuary
Yeah.
for the homeless parts in another person.
Yeah. That's a great quote.
That is a great. I don't know who said it. No, wait, I do.
Yeah.
It's Dr. Rachel Naomi Remen said it. I
That's how
shouldn't
you
give.
became a TED talker.
Wow, it's so funny.
You have good memory.
I do have a good memory. It's so funny.
Yeah.
I love quotes, and so I do a ton of quotes in my talks,
Hmm.
quotes and definitions, because I want to make it real.
Yeah.
So, so I don't do, um, what are they called? Feedback forms. What are they called? If to rate the speaker, whatever the hell they're called.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Feedback form.
don't
Yeah.
send, I don't give them out. Sometimes people do, which is fine. That's okay. So
Hmm.
somebody one time had done it, and it said, "Hey, you might want to look at these." And I'm like, "Oh wow, okay, that's kind of cool." And, people say, "Oh my god, great talk." Anything else? One person said, "Too many quotes." I swear to God, too many quotes.
Yeah.
Too many quotes. I was like, okay, I get
Yeah.
it.
He's like, too much
Yeah,
drama. I can't handle it.
exactly. It was amazing. It was so funny.
Yeah. My problem is I remember quotes. I don't remember who said it.
No, well, no, yeah, I'm about 50-50. Yeah, I don't remember the quote, but no, I'm probably about 75%. But I
Yeah.
tell you what, man, there are some brilliant people in the world. I mean, that
Hmm.
Brene Brown quote is just, and the Dr. Ramsey quote. There's another quote.
Hmm.
David Chang is a famous chef,
Hmm.
and he has bipolar, and he has this quote about depression.
Hmm.
When you're depressed, you're convinced that everything you think is true. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's exactly right. That is like
Hmm.
so right.
Yes.
And you know what? And when they put it in, and the chef put that in that way, it's so perfect, because it's like, it's not that you're stupid, or you lost your mind, or you just become convinced.
Hmm.
You're a piece of shit. You're ugly. You're stupid. You're worthless. The world would be better off without you. You believe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're convinced that that's true.
Yeah.
You're
I
not.
I read a quote that said, the hardest thing is not to fool yourself, but you are the easiest to fool.
Oh man, ain't that the truth? That's a really good quote.
I don't know who said it.
I know.
I just read it and I was like,
That's a good.
yeah,
That's a good quote.
definitely.
Yeah. So
Because
then,
it applies to both optimistic and pessimistic
well,
situations,
no,
right?
exactly. You're exactly right. And so, yeah, because you don't want to be
Because,
so. You don't want to say no to everything.
yeah.
But you don't want to
Hmm.
be say yes to everything.
Yeah.
How do you hit that
Because
middle
I can
ground?
think like I can sing like Taylor Swift, right? I can convince myself of that, right? But when I go to sing, the reality hits.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing even in depression, right? I can convince myself that I'm not enough, right? But when I go and provide value, right? And then I understand, okay, I was wrong.
Yeah.
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 I There
Yeah.
are too many smart people in the world.
There's some
In the
amazing.
world.
Man, it's. I have a whole stack of quotes. I only
Mhm.
use a small percentage. Um, I'm trying to think of some.
Actually, let me tell you a small story, right? Like there was a guru in India, right? And he was a very big spiritual leader, right? Once a mother took her kid to the guru and said, "Can you stop him? Can you tell him to stop eating sweets because his teeth will decay,
Mm,
right?" And she said, "Okay, come in 15 days. Okay, I will tell the kid." And she came back in 15 days, and the leader said to the kid, "Hey, don't eat sweets, it's bad for your teeth." And the mother was like, "What the fuck?" Like, why did you make me wait 15 days, right, to tell this one simple thing, right? But the leader said, "I also eat sweets. So if I tell you not to eat and I eat it, right, that is not actual advice. So I took 15 days to stop eating that particular
mm.
sweet. So when I stopped, only then I became eligible to tell you what to do."
Holy cow! That's a great story.
Right? That's what most health and mental talk is about, right?
Wow, that's a
If I have not gone through a suicidal attempt, right, I cannot talk about it
well.
because I cannot
Yeah.
scale it,
No,
right?
you're
I
right.
cannot put it in right
No,
words,
you're right. You're right. But
right?
there
So
are.
it takes suffering to spread happiness and wisdom,
Ooh,
right?
that's wow. That's
Yeah, I think that's what you're doing.
no. Well, thank you. Well, it was interesting. Um, I know we're running out of time, but I'll. Um, End of last year, I went. Even though I was doing all the things that I was supposed to do about meds and which I'm totally fine with, medication
Hmm.
and therapy and everything else. I I went into a depression, the worst I've ever been in my entire life.
Hmm.
Depressed, suicidal. My beloved tells me, I don't have a memory of it. She said every day I'd wake up and beg her to let me die. Like it was that bad.
Hmm.
So didn't know what to do. She and my eldest brother, who's really my dad, they're my two North Stars that I call them, um,
Hmm.
got me into what's known as ECT or electroconvulsive therapy, shock
Hmm.
therapy. I don't know if you've heard of
Hmm.
it. Um,
Yeah.
they use electricity. So, so I've had 32 sessions in the
Hmm.
last almost 8 months.
Hmm.
Changed my life. Unbelievable. It
Yeah.
just and what's interesting is there's so much stigma and fear and misinformation around this particular form of therapy because there's an
Yes,
old
that
movie
even I know about it.
that even there's the old movie that was way back when with Jack Nicholson called One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest, and it was
Hmm.
just it showed one of the characters having ECT back in the 60s, and it's
Yeah.
nothing like that. Um, and what happens is I go in, they put electrodes around my head, they put me to sleep, then they paralyze my body completely.
Hmm.
Then they induce a seizure with electricity. It lasts between about 30 and 45 seconds. And my brain it's basically rewiring my
Hmm.
entire brain. And I've had, and then I wake up and I go into recovery and I go home. And for
Hmm.
me, it's like I go there and have a nap. Like
Yeah.
I don't hurt. I don't, there's none of it. And I've had 32 sessions. Number 33 is on August
Hmm.
9th. Not only did it take away my depression, and not only did it take away my suicidal thoughts, it is it's it's changed in a lot of ways the way I think. It's
Hmm.
extraordinary. And so I'm on a mission now because I talk about this in my speeches, and I include it because it's part of my life. It's not like I'm forcing it in because I was in this place and oh my god, we tried this and it worked. because there's so many people out there that have what they call treatment resistant depression. So, they've tried all
Hmm.
these things and nothing works. Try this, but they're afraid. My hope is
Hmm.
like, here's a guy that did 32 times.
Yeah.
It looks like he's okay. It's like, I'm more than okay. I can promise you that. So
Hmm.
anyway, um, yeah, it's what it's done for me, brother, is phew, it's incredible. I
Yeah.
it's
I'm a very firm believer of whatever works for you works for you.
yeah.
Like there is no, do you remember when people accused Joe Rogan of horse dewormers for COVID? And I was like, so what? Like, if something works for you, works for you. That's
Sure,
all,
exactly.
right?
Whatever.
He's not out there advertising, right? He's not like this is a horse dewormer. It can get rid of your COVID. He's not doing that,
No.
right? Yeah.
No. Well, brother, God love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Yeah, for being here.
Thank you, man. It was a
Um,
blast.
yeah, I hope you had fun.
Oh, it was incredible.
Um,
Thank you.
and yeah, and to my audience, guys, this is the end of the episode, and all of David's, you know, links in social media and TEDx talk will be in the description below. So yeah, just go there and check it out. And if you want to talk to him, yeah, you can probably you can they can reach you on Facebook, right?
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything.
So yeah, he's easy to find.
Very easy.
So
Super easy.
right. So yeah, so just go and there talk to him, and yeah, and until next episode, thank you and take care.